Chapter 1, The Leadership Experience. As a young politician, Abraham Lincoln once provoked an opponent to tears by using his expert communication skills to mimic and ridicule his rival. Soon afterward, the man who would later become the 16th President of the United States felt disappointed and ashamed in his own behavior and sought out his opponent to offer an apology. Lincoln took this as a valuable lesson about channeling his emotions, practicing empathy, and using his abilities to promote good. From then on, Lincoln applied his superb leadership and communication skills to serve the higher interests of the American people rather than his own goals and ego. Interest in Abraham Lincoln's leadership swelled with the release of last year's 2012 historical film Lincoln, which was a huge critical success and a commercial success, grossing more than $250 million at the box office. Lincoln's presidency is a big, well-lit classroom for business leaders seeking to build successful, enduring organizations. In this era of disconnected and morally bankrupt leaders, it is no wonder the skills, strengths, and character of Lincoln have struck a chord. His ability to control his emotions and stay committed to a vision, even under intense hardship, his commitment to go into the field and establish connections with soldiers and the general public, and his willingness to listen to different points of view and to share credit for success and take blame for failures, all tap into a deep longing within people for genuine leadership. The public trust in leaders may be at an all-time low, referring to the dire economic situation that followed the ethical and financial problems in the mortgage and finance industries. This is not just a global crisis. It is a global leadership crisis. In this particular chapter, you will be learning to understand the full meaning of leadership and see the leadership potential in yourself and others. You'll recognize and facilitate the 6 fundamental transformations in today's organizations and leaders. Identify the primary reasons for leadership derailment and the new paradigm skills that can help avoid it. You will also recognize the traditional functions of management and the fundamental differences between leadership and management. Appreciate the crucial importance of providing directions, alignment, relationship, personal qualities, and outcomes. Explain how leadership has evolved and how historical approaches apply to the practice of leadership today. Scholars and other writers have offered hundreds of definitions of the term leadership. It is one of the most observed and least understood phenomena on earth. Defining leadership has become a complex and elusive problem because the nature of leadership itself is complex. Some have even suggested that leadership is nothing more than a romantic myth, perhaps based on the false hope that someone will come along and solve our problems by sheer force of will. There is some evidence that people do pin their hopes on leaders in ways that are not always realistic. Particularly when times are tough, people often look to a grand, charismatic type of leader to alleviate fear and uncertainty. In recent years, the romantic or heroic view of leadership has been challenged. Much progress has been made in understanding the essential nature of leadership as a real and powerful influence in organizations and societies. In this book, leadership is defined as an influence relationship among leaders and followers who intend real changes and outcomes that reflect their shared purposes. Leadership involves influence. It occurs among people those people intentionally desire significant changes, and the changes reflect purposes shared by leaders and followers. Influence means that the relationship among people is not passive. However, also inherent in this definition is the concept that influences is multidirectional and non-coercive. Leadership is reciprocal. In most organizations, superiors influence subordinates, but subordinates also influence superiors. The people involved in relationship want substantive changes. Leadership involves creating change, not maintaining the status quo. In addition, the changes sought are not dictated by leaders, but reflect purposes leaders and followers share. An important aspect of leadership is influencing others to come together around a common vision. Leadership is a people activity and is distinct from administrative paperwork or planning activities. Leadership occurs among people. It is not something done to people. Since leadership involves people, there must be followers. Good leaders know how to follow and set an example for others. The issue of intention or will means that people, leader and followers, are actively involved in the pursuit of change. One stereotype is that leaders are somehow different, that they are above all others. However, in reality, the qualities needed for effective leadership are the same as those needed to be an effective follower. Effective followers think for themselves and carry out assignments with energy and enthusiasm. They are committed to something outside of their own self-interest, and they have courage to stand up for what they believe in. Effective leaders and effective followers may sometimes be the same people, playing different roles at different times. As it is best, leadership is shared among leaders and followers, with everyone fully engaged and accepting higher levels of responsibility. When we stop equating leadership with greatness and public visibility, it becomes easier to see our own opportunities for leadership and recognize the leadership of people we interact with every day. Leaders come in all shapes and sizes, and many true leaders are working behind the scenes.